Hello and welcome to this edition of Rethink India Masterclass. Today we are privileged to have a very eminent maestro in the field of education who lives and leads by the Tagorean spirit of where the mind is without fear and the head is held high, where knowledge is free, where the word has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls, where words come out from the depths of truth, where tireless striving stretches its arms towards perfection, where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way into the dreary desert sand of dead habit, where the mind is led forward by thee into ever widening thought and action, into that heaven of freedom, my Father, let my country awake. So friends, let's welcome Madam Nikita Tomar Mann, the Honorable Principal of Tagore International School, Vasant, Vihar at New Delhi. Uh, Welcome you, ma'am, to this edition of Rethink India Masterclass. There is no single...
Thank you so much, Raghav and Dr. Sudhi.
There is no facet
Thank you.
in our brief interaction with Tagore International School of this Nobel Prize winning piece of Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore, which we have not found unfurled at this prestigious school. And we have with us Madam, who would be unwrapping the underlying facets as to what drives this Tagorean spirit. Ma'am, maybe you can take this as the first question. What is this genesis that this entire spirit is being led at Tagore International School?
Right. So when we say where the mind is without fear, for Tagoreans, it is the very ethos of the school, because we believe in freedom of speech, we believe in freedom of expression, we believe in equal rights for everybody, be it the students, the teachers, even the helper staff at school. So I think it has kind of crept into everyday running of our school. We don't even realize that this is just something that Rabindranath Tagore wrote of. It is something that we live and breathe every single day. For us, it is very important that students have a voice. It's very important that they think for themselves. We are not looking at making clones out of students. We are looking at creating individuals. We are looking at citizens who will be able to lend meaning to the society. And for that, it is very important that, there's a lot of deliberation and collaboration that happens in every aspect of schooling for the students. So be it in activities, or be it in the classroom, or be it in discussions that the students have with the teachers, the ability to express what they feel, the ability to have a different thought process from their peers, and to be able to be accepting of different thought processes is what Tagore stands for. We do not want children to be just conformists. Mm-hmm. So it's important that they do not live in the fear of conforming. Mm-hmm. And that is good for us, because every student should think that I have certain thoughts and I need to express them. Mm-hmm. I may have thoughts that is different from my peers, mm-hmm. and that brings in the entire tapestry of diversity that we talk of. So we live and breathe this every single day. So that's what Tagoreans are all about.
Eternal iconoclast Tagore is creating the fear of conformity is not at all present out there. This is really lovely, and this has been, I think, the fountainhead of Indian wisdom, where we had Nachiketas who even questioned the gods of death, and lack of conformation has been so central to the Indic wisdom and thought. Lovely, ma'am. Just one question, that how the Tagoreans overcame this fear of COVID and held their heads high for these 90 odd days, and how the free flow of knowledge has been going on in this lockdown phase.
Right. So I think when as an individual you are bold and you have the courage, and you lead your life by that principle every single day, challenges do come your way, and COVID has been a challenge for every one of us. But for Tagoreans, for the teachers as well as the students, the thing that really helped us in this entire thing to adapt quickly was that technology has been a part and parcel hustle of our school life on a daily basis. So teachers would teach, I mean, it is mandatory for our teachers to use technology in every lesson that they teach. And it is not going to be just a technology driven lesson. So it has to have, varied components of technology, of classroom discussions, a class where students, it's a flipped class by and large mostly. So students would have read up something, would have been sent a little clip which they are supposed to have seen and come to the class ready for the class. And then the teacher takes them through different phases where parents share. The beauty of all of this is that the seating that we have in our school also allows for this kind of freedom of expression, because we believe in collaboration, we believe in factoring in different opinions. So right till grade 8, all our seating is in groups, which is not something that you will find in schools very often, because maybe by tables, but by first standard onwards, most schools would start doing a linear arrangement of classrooms. Whereas we have group seating right till class 8. And group seating means there are about 5 to 6 students to a table. And this allows for a lot of group work that happens. Even in classroom discussions, if a teacher has, kind of left a certain thought in the class and she says, okay, now in your respective groups, go ahead. And she gives an opportunity to everybody turn by turn. She says, okay, team member 1 will take this. Team member 3 will take this, or any one of you wants to present the thought process that you have as a group. What is your thought process? And then it is discussed with another group, with another group. So at the end of the class, you can see that for any topic, how many thought processes have come forth, how students wake up to having forgotten about one aspect which is brought forth by another group. And you wake up to the fact that, okay, we should have been a little more linear in our, lateral in our thinking. We could have thought of this as well. Otherwise, normally the structure of our education system is such, and as you move to senior classes, you're supposed to be thinking in a particular manner, a particular pattern to be able to, attempt all those questions which are posed to you. Yet at the same time, it is the responsibility of any institution that while we do that, because we don't have too much of control over it, we also manage to get the kids to, develop their own thought processes. Everything does not need to be put in the answer that they are writing, but you can have a thought which is different from that. You would definitely guide them as teachers and tell them that, look, this is how ordinarily an answer would be expected of you. But yes, this is also something that you can. So don't leave this out, but you can add your bit to it. So these are the little guidances that you give them. So when it came to COVID, technology was a big help, because we all have our Google groups, which are a part of our day-to-day schooling. Right from day one, even when the parent joins in for pre-primary, everybody's email IDs are collected. We form Google groups because it is very easy for a teacher to communicate any information in one go through a mail to everybody who is a part of a class. And even the economically weaker section parents are guided to create their email ID, because they are not very savvy with technology. But it is imperative that we do that for them. So everybody, including the EWS, we have a lot of visually challenged students who we take on as a part of our community outreach program. We have a tie-up with NAB. Every year we take on visually challenged students as a part of this program. So all these students were on board from day one. And moment we went online with the classes, with the closure of schools, we use Google Meet because Google groups are already ready. So it was very easy for teachers to immediately move to that online platform. But yes, the exploration of different facets of Google Meet happened over a period of time, which of course did not hamper the way the transaction happened, because initial few days it was more about students adapting to this entire platform, teachers adapting, students getting used to a structure where even being at home, they need to get up at 8:30 so that you're ready for your 9 o'clock class. We did not make uniforms mandatory for them because we knew what families are going through. So there are little aspects that we were empathetic about, but little aspects which we thought that there has to be a structure to the day of a student, for him also to feel that, hey, nothing big has happened. Maybe I'm at home, yet I'm doing whatever I would do at school as well. I'm still meeting my teacher through a virtual platform. I'm looking at my friends. I'm interacting through the chat box. I'm interacting by unmuting my mic. I'm posing all the questions, and I'm exploring a medium which is new, which is novel, which offers me such fabulous features which teachers have explored over a period of time, the Google Docs and the instant feedback that you get on whatever you have taught, because this is not something that you were doing. Though we do have the concept of, progressive worksheets where we do a little component of a lesson, and then the teacher says, okay, only these 3 questions to be answered right now in the worksheet, and she takes it back from them, because that worksheet will get over only as and when you proceed with the lesson, and by the end of the lesson all the aspects are covered. So that is what we call a progressive worksheet. It's not a worksheet that you give at the end of the lesson. You need to also know what's happening alongside. But Google Docs and Google Forms gave us the option of doing it immediately. Moment she's taught today, she said, okay, now 5 minutes remaining, these questions, attempt it. It gets tabulated on its own. The teacher has a result. She knows what has been understood, what has not been understood. Learning gaps can be identified. She can revisit the concepts which she needs to visit. So technology has been a wonderful tool. We were very particular about how much screen time we were attributing to all our students. We were very particular from day one. It was not something that we waited for some research papers and some documents to come, and newspaper to say that suddenly children are coming up with headaches and they are attending classes from 8 o'clock to 2 o'clock. So we had only about 4 lessons in a day for students for about 40 minutes. We had about 10 minutes gap between lessons for the student to get up and move around and physically exercise themselves, drink water, visit the restroom, and get back to the class. So I think it was very, deeply thought of plan for the primary initially. I mean, all this while we have not gone with live online classes. We decided to give recorded lessons by the teachers for each subject. It was not something that we picked from the net. So their teachers sent them first videos of what it is like, in these times to be at home, but I'm there with you. So you look at me, this is your class teacher, because the session started without anybody meeting anybody physically. So students did not even know who their class teacher is. So it was very important that the class teacher makes a little video, introduces herself, sends it to the students and the parents, talks about the other teachers who will be taking the different subjects for the students. So that was our introduction to the session. And then she would record lessons with her, showing her face initially, and then telling them, this is how we'll go through the concept, this is the puzzle you do at the end. So something interesting at the end of the lesson. It couldn't be drab, because in a classroom there are students who will raise doubts and come up with things, and it breaks the monotony of a teacher talk or a teacher teaching them. In this situation, it's a recorded lesson. I mean, they are bound to be listening to whatever you are doing. So it is important that you bring in some interesting concepts in it. At the end, you have a puzzle, a little story, a little interesting experiment that they can do, something that they can go do in the kitchen with their parents. So very, very well thought out lessons. Teachers researched a lot. There was a lot. Internet was the boon. There's so much of information there which you ordinarily probably do not explore to that extent. But now that we had to look at making things more interesting, because it was an online platform, it opened options for us. Besides, of course, the multiple companies who came to you with the free software through mails, that now this is a paid thing, but for these 2 months we are offering it free, with, of course, a caveat that I'm sure they are looking at people getting hooked onto it and then finally asking them to pay for it when they come back to it. But we had to be very careful about what we were allowing students to visit and not to visit. Just because it is free is not something that you open to the parents and the students. So everything was vetted by the teachers. They go through it, they give a little report, whether it is worth it, not worth it, whether it's a replica of what we are already doing and we don't need to do it. Because whatever it was, what would be on an online platform, that would mean an added screen time for the students. So we looked into all these aspects for them. For the pre-primary, then things like we knew that students are at home, they want to interact with their peers. So you would have a circle time where a teacher would say, okay, once a week we will all meet as a class. You open your hearts out, talk about what you're doing, what you've learned, what your grandparents told you, you got scolded, go ahead, talk about it. We will discuss on how you could have handled it better, things like this. And for senior classes, whether they were feeling the stress of academics, because many of them are in important years where they were looking at doing a lot of things in this year. 12th standard, which is on the brink of moving out with few exams left for the commerce batch, otherwise the science is through with it. With the present 12th who had apprehensions of whether it will become a 0 year, whether they will be able to go for their competitive, whether they have coaching which is available, How will we go about our examinations? Will the syllabus be the same? Will it be cut down by CBSE? Questions for which we did not have an answer in the month of April ourselves, but it was very important to put their doubts and their apprehensions to rest. It is very, the teacher's role is so imperative at that time that you kind of ease them and you tell them, look, we are all here, we are all adults, even people at CBSE are all adults. We understand the situation. Decisions will be taken keeping all this in mind. So you don't worry about it. Whatever is being done right now, just focus on that, and we will take it each day as it comes. So this is how we proceeded. By May, we were able to even do a kind of a formal assessments for the 10th and 12th using the Google platform. We sent a circular to the parents telling them that this is on Friday at this time we are going to be doing a 25 marks test. It will be a mix of multiple choice and some answers that they can write and type out straight away into the box. The teachers would be invigilating even on a virtual platform. The students need to turn in their assignment at the end of this time. We will give an additional 5 minutes in case you face an internet issue. Get in touch with your teacher and inform her that, ma'am, I'm getting delayed because this is what has happened, so that we give you that, leeway. Everybody's cameras to be on. By and large, thankfully, most of them had their cameras in place, and Google gives you this option of looking at all of them on the screen simultaneously. So the teacher is able to see that, okay, your camera is not on, please keep it on. SMS sent to parents telling them that this is whatever we practice and whatever we teach the kids about values, about integrity, practice it now. Because when we are trusting you from home to take an assignment, we trust that you have the integrity of attempting it in all honesty. So as parents, you need to ensure, because we are not there, but you are an extension of us at home. Please ensure that the students do not have any materials with them, any books with them. Even if probably they would try something like this, they would definitely lose out on the time that they would have, because an assignment is structured keeping a certain time frame in mind. So if you are busy looking for something for one answer, you're definitely going to look out, miss out on something at the other end. So there were a lot of exploration done.
Yes. That there has been a tireless striving, stretching its arms towards perfection at Tagore International School.
And each and every aspect has been looked after, looked into and given due attention, not missing the nuances, any bit of it. So it seemed like,
including activities that happened. We would send them physical education activity every day. It was being sent to the students so that they could, in the evening or morning hours, do that 15-20 minutes. So whatever exercise was sent, something interesting, innovative, which you could do at home, creating hurdles out of cushions, or creating obstacles out of maybe even utensils. So something innovative that the physical education teachers thought that we should make the kids jump and come around, collect something, put it back. Something that was, otherwise it's very mundane, lift your arms and put it back. So that is one. Dance, music, which is an integral part of, making you feel light, making you feel connected with life, was being sent to students. Live classes were going on Fridays for the primary wing as well. They were very happy to do art classes, in fact, we had an online summer camp recently, which we decided at the end of the term, because ordinarily we do not believe in these camps, which are paid activities done by most schools, because as a school, we do not believe that something like this, if anything is to be offered to the kids, it should be for free. If your teachers are doing it, why associate an amount with it? So we decided that now that they're at home, this is a good time. Let's do an online camp. Gave them a choice of activities between performing arts, between visual arts, between cooking without fire, between storytelling, between animation, between trash to treasure, which is best out of waste. So all these activities were given. Students got engaged right from class 1 to class 9th, had taken these activities. Western vocal, Indian vocal, teachers were engaged in giving them online classes. So it came out to be quite successful. This was another thing that we thought. And another aspect which played a very important role in this entire planning was psychological counseling of students on a regular basis, psychological counseling of the staff. Teachers were also going through turmoil. They may be adults, but you can't forget that everybody's coping mechanism is of the same level. You may have teachers who may be breaking down in the midst of all this, because you are busy with household chores, you are busy with thinking about what your kids would do because they are also stuck at home, you are busy with thinking about your spouse, the job security of your spouse. You're thinking about taking your online classes. You're thinking about putting up this brave face in front of your students that everything is going to be okay, but deep inside that little fear lurking that even you do not know what tomorrow holds for you. So it was important that we have psychological counseling for all the classes. The students got together, our counselors kept talking to them, told them how to adapt, little exercises that you can do, the gratitude journal that can be maintained, that let's not look at what is going wrong, let's look at what are the things which are going wrong, right? What are the things that you're doing which you never did before this, the connection that you're having with your families, with your grandparents, the parents that you're getting to know much more now than you knew maybe 2 months back, because parents have been equally busy with their lives. They try and spend time, but this kind of time nobody had. And the idea of even coping with everybody being in the same physical space throughout the day is daunting, because you've not seen each other so much. You don't see each other from morning. So you would spend maybe 3-4 hours. You can smile through it, laugh, and be happy about it. But here is somebody you look at from the morning till night, and you keep bumping into them, moving out from one bedroom to the other. The expectations are humongous. Usually from the women in the family. I'd be happy to know if there has been some men also helping out with the kitchen work. But yes, it has brought families together, but it has also caused a lot of turmoil in the family. So it was important that the counselor connects with them, tells them how to cope with their own spouses, how to cope with the adolescent at home who's getting restless, and who you need to say that you cannot go out because it's not safe for the time being. So these were things. Students are talking about different things. Little ones talking to the counselor about how I get up, I feel worried, I can't go out and play. I want to go out and play. The 10th and 12th saying that, ma'am, I'm getting worried about my academics. I get frustrated. I want to go out. I want to feel fresh air. She telling them how to, manage to calm themselves down during this period. Also, along with all the counseling, the first few things that we did was, it was an online platform. We knew that students will be exploring a lot, and we wanted to keep it a safe platform for them. Because now was a time when all these days you told the students, do not use mobile, screen time is not so good, do not look at this. Suddenly, everybody found the beauty of being on an online platform, and you were talking something else. So, the students knew that it is paradoxical. A few days back, my parent would say, do not spend so much time. Now my parent says, go to attend your classes. So it was a dichotomy for everybody. But it was important for them to know they have to keep themselves safe. That this is a platform which offers you a lot, but it can also get you into trouble, because cyberspace is a little dangerous. Because they will definitely explore beyond the classes. They will be on the net when they, on the pretext of exploring something for their work, they will be exploring other things. So we had a parent who works in the Department of Cybersecurity, who was able to help us out. We did cybersecurity sessions for all our senior classes who were using the online platform. Class-wise, he took questions from them, and he also then, helped us. We drafted a policy. He helped us. He vetted the policy, said, yes, this is good to go. Send this policy to all the parents and students to read and to say, I agree and abide by these. And this is what the repercussions will be if I misuse and abuse this platform. Because, students could share the links with students from other schools. They could barge into a platform. You would not know as a teacher. Of course, because it was the initial phase when the teachers did not know who are a part of a class. They were all new kids. They had just been promoted and come to the new class. Now the teachers know all of them very well. So moment there is an outsider, she says, who's this? And the student says, ma'am, I have logged in with my father's phone. They are able to identify. So the cyber policy was very important, that it is agreed upon, signed and sent back. So we've got it for every single child who's using the online platform. So there were a lot of aspects in the online that we had to explore as a school, to touch upon them, to make sure that we've covered all our bases. And now I think the comfort level of everybody with what is available to us through the online platform, what other apps we can use to add on to this, because a lot of webinars the teachers have been attending, a lot of professional development programs have been going on. So everybody attends, gives us a report and say, ma'am, this is what I've got to know from this particular thing, we should explore this. Then everybody explores, gets back to us that it can be done. Initially, there was no board available in the teachers' houses. The schools just shut down. And math teacher requires a board. However much you're doing, she may have a slide, but you may need to go back to the step. one or two in between, whenever they got the time, they were able to rush to the market and get hold of a whiteboard with markers. Some couldn't. So they explored the app called the Jamboard, which has an inbuilt board where the teacher can keep writing and the student can keep, following the steps as teacher is seen at the one corner of the app herself. And the students can go back and forth on it to see what was the previous step for them. So there were so many things that we discovered along the way, which we didn't know exists in this platform. So this is how we kind of went about this whole process.
I think the entire mind and the management has been led forward into an ever-widening thought and action in the right spirit and experimentation and deploying it at the right time. In less than 100 days, you have certainly transformed the entire educational culture in a humongous way, ma'am. I think big claps for the Tagorean spirit.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
It's not just possible without that verve and the drive which you have led it from the top. Because each of these small, I'm just saying it's in a small masterclass, each of these interventions calls for a detailed elaboration. Each one of them. And I would just like, for the sake of our viewers, like the group seating approach, which is a Tagorean pedagogy, which I feel again is breaking up the fragments of knowledge in classrooms when the linearity is there, the regimentation is there, the ranks and files. You've created the team culture over there. The peer learning part you've mentioned many a times, because when the students listen to things, the knowledge really gets distributed amongst them in a normal curve. It's a lovely intervention.
Besides, I think also what is important there is that, acceptance of other person's perspective. Points of view is very important. You may not have the best thing and the best perspective. You may have a different perspective from somebody else, and both of them may be equally good. So that is so important, because normally what happens is everybody tends to be so full of themselves that they feel whatever they've thought of is really good. And only when you listen to others and you understand that when someone else is talking, I need to hear and listen. I don't have to always get in and, try to get the other person around to your point of thinking. That is so important, because we talk about collaboration as being a very, very important aspect of the 21st century skill. Then it has to be practiced in the classroom on a day-to-day basis. It's not something that you talk of as a lecture to the class that we need to collaborate, we need to be together, you need to talk to one another, and then you don't have any scope for it when you're dealing with the students. So that is where the seating concept has come in, and it works very, very well for the students.
That is what we call as the subjectivity of truth, the multiplicity of perspectives, and listening is so very central to freedom of expression. It is not just speaking and speaking alone. It's accepting others' point of view. Lovely, ma'am. And the beauty which I'm seeing is like you are trying to do it in a very, very small interventions. These are not very profound philosophical foundations.
Yes, and they don't require some kind of material investment or some kind of financial implications that they have. Yes, we use in fact building as a learning tool. So all our the solar system, the math, the fractions, everything is on the floors of our quadrangle in the school. So everything is out there for the students. So when they are walking past it, even the timelines, the history timeline, everybody is looking at it on a daily basis, and there's a little learning that goes on, because however not very conscious of what you're looking at you may be, yet something it's an imprint that you carry with you, because you've walked past something, you may just come back and look at it again from another point of view. So we call that BALA, building as learning aid. It's all over the steps, it's all over the common spaces that we have, things that we put out for the kids, generic things that everybody needs to know. It's not specific to any class, but it is there for them to know. Another thing that I think is very important for all schools to do, which many of them do it, but I think we do it very differently from most schools, are community outreach programs. That's something we are very, very passionate and proud of. We have 2 such projects. In fact, we have 3 projects, of which 2 are something that we've been doing for about 10 to 11 years now. It has an international reach. And we may be, in 1 or 2 of them, we are the only schools in India who are into it. One being the Breaking Barriers campaign that we have, which is for the LGBTQI plus community. We have been doing it for 10 plus years now. And we first started off by sensitization of every school and every organization who would invite us, because our students were first trained. First, the sensitization process of the students, of the parents, because it's not a topic that parents would take to very kindly. Sometimes you feel that, you know, a different sexual orientation is not something that should be discussed at school level. It's something that is left for college level. But ironically, the bullying of students who show a different orientation starts at school.
Yes.
Is that not the place and where you should start the sensitization? You can't wait for a student to get scarred for life and then say, okay, now he's mature enough and now people are mature enough, now let's talk about it. So, you know, grades 9th and 10th upwards, where now students have a lot of exposure. They are aware of things. They are aware of different sexual orientations. We don't, nobody is, exploring and asking you what is yours. But where you see that the child has a different, sexual orientation, or the child is a little different in the way the child probably behaves or carries himself or herself, you need to be accommodating. When we say human rights, this is also a human right that respect everybody. It's their personal choice, whatever they are. Again, it comes to conforming that no, this is not natural, this is not normal, you need to be like this, you need to be either a girl or a boy with preferences only in these two categories. You and I have no control over it, because it is something that is biological, that exists in them. It's not something that they are learning. So you need to be accepting of it, and you need to be identifying signs of it, and you need to be ensuring that your students are sensitive. If they notice something like this, at least the ridicule is not there. True. At least the acceptance is there. Yes, so and so is different, but hey, it's okay. Everybody is different in this world. When I come across 5 more people, I'll find different things in them as well. So, yes.
More of a bold, brave step in adding upon a non-conformist attitude and a freedom of expression.
Because very bold. And see, now people are still waking up to it. 10 years back, only school to participate in the gay pride parade at Janpath. Only school, always in support of the LGBT community. Now we've gone to way ahead. Now we've started getting employment for people of this community, because ordinarily they're not accepted in organizations. So we've joined hands with the Lalit, because the Lalit group of hotels, they do a lot of work for them. So, they do the career fairs for the LGBTQI plus community, where our project director who handles these projects with the kids in the school participates. Student campaign heads of the school go and attend these, interact with these people to get to know them better. We did, with Red FM, we did a whole month of Pride Ki Side, the campaign that they ran in the month of September last year. And we would go with the Red FM team to different organizations to sensitize people. These were colleges. These were grown-up, people who were not willing to talk about it.
Daring and commitment which is required for issues like these, because when we talk a lot about innovation, we talk a lot about inclusion, but until unless we act upon it, and I think I salute Tagore International School to really have come forward, breaking the taboos, because generally at a brand level, at an institutional level, there is always a taboo. Oh, let's not go beyond the majoritarian view. Let's not get into cliche. The brand will get sullen.
No, the decriminalization of 377, the celebration of it, 1 year celebration, we invited people from the community to school. And you'll be surprised, very, very, very articulate, very, very educated people who have different sexual orientations from different professions came in. They spoke to the kids about their journey.
This is basically the unraveling of the clear stream of reason. At times we say that we have reasoned stream coming out, but we are all colored by our own cliche.
Prejudices, yes. It is there. All the biases. Very important for the staff.
And ma'am, you also mentioned that you have a fabulous community outreach program with the visually handicapped people. And we would like to know more about that. This is quite
the visually challenged students are taken in school we've opened it right from pre-primary. Okay. We have visually challenged students, even there. And these students, we have about 21 of them in school right now. And every year as they pass out, if somebody's passed out, then we ask NAB to, maybe if they have a student of a particular class that we are looking at, we ask them that we are willing to take them on. They are given a buddy in the school. So there is a child who's their buddy who will look after them. These students are taught to be independent. So they are given a familiarization of the entire building. Many of them are able to navigate to quite some extent on their own. They even know now this is the beginning of steps and things like that. But of course, for the safety reasons, the buddy is associated with them everywhere, including dispersal time where they are brought down first. They sit at the lobby because the bus comes from NAB to pick them up. Yes, most of them are with the NAB. So there is a NAB coordinator who coordinates with us. He comes and picks them up. The bus comes in the morning, drops them. Yes, and in the class, they are made to sit in front. Most of them have a laptop. They have the braille with them. So whatever the teacher yes, the audio conversions or whatever is going on is available to the student. We are in the Limca Book of Records because we have done an entire digitization of so many books for the visually impaired students in the school. Yes, and it was a marathon project that we took up. Yes, and so that yes, all books have been digitized in an audio form for them.
Audio form.
Yes, so that they are able to go through and the content is available to them. So the inclusion is felt even by them. They are never left out, whether it's from physical activity or anything. And the pride, and we always appreciate on a public platform all these students who are their buddies, with awards, because they are going beyond what is expected of a student of that age. You're not only doing things for yourself, you're helping out somebody of your age to adapt, to be and you are showing traits of being inclusive. So it's students are very used to seeing different kinds of students in the school environment. For them, it's not like, where schools do not have visually impaired students, you will turn around to see what's wrong with this kid. But here, they are very used to it in the classroom. So anytime they cross all our kids, it's like part and parcel of the school. You get to see them. There are, of course, learning disability children, which of course look regular, but then they have LD kids, but there the help is coming from the counselors for them. For certain periods, they move out of their classes and go to special educators. So students know that for this period, my peer is not able to manage this subject. He goes to a special educator for this, but will come back after this, in the class. So yes,
to the deepest depths of truth which life presents.
Exactly. You should not keep students away from what life will offer you few years from now. It's nice to be idealistic, but to an extent where a student sees something else altogether when he moves out of school and say, hey, this is not what I signed up for. Because in school I was taught that life is perfect, everything is fine, everybody looks like you, we are all the same. It's not a fact. We need to prepare. As they grow older, they need to understand there are various aspects of life. We need to step in and help out wherever we can. We have the Flawless Flaws campaign, which is for the acid attack survivors. In fact, Lakshmi, who is now a known name, a good 8 years back has visited our school. We had invited her. Now after Chapak, she's a big name because the movie is being based on her. Her husband is associated with us because he runs an NGO. In fact, we just last Saturday had the Flawless Flaws interaction with him, with all the Flawless Flaw campaign members, because students sign up to be a part of the campaigns. So acid attack survivors is another thing. When we bring them to school, students see them. When we have a discussion with them, students see. So they don't cringe at looking at disfigurement. They understand that this is also it is a raw reality of our life. It's sad, but it exists. So it's important for them to understand that this is also a facet of life. We cannot do much about it except sensitize everybody around us and to contribute to see if we can rehabilitate them. So we have a fundraiser program every year called Ninad, where students and parents, everybody participates. We have a donor card which is given. Everybody contributes. We have little things that the students have made. We have a little sale of those little, articles or artwork that the students have made for parents and the community to purchase. And with all of that, the contributes and the amount goes towards the surgery and the rehabilitation program for these students, these victims. And we give them in the form of a check. We follow up and we see that it has been utilized by them, because just contributing to some organization, giving money, you don't know where the money is going. So you need to be very, very sure of that when you're contributing, it's actually reaching the end user, the one who will be benefited from it. We've got jobs to two of these people, because ordinarily organizations do not want to take, they are still willing to take up LGBTQI, but they are not willing to take up acid attack survivors because of the disfigurement, which they feel will be a negative in an organization. So sensitization about all of that they are part of us. It's not something that they called upon themselves. It's happened to them. Now, as a society, are we willing to step ahead and do something for them is the question. Are we training our kids to accept that this happens? But yes, while we are doing sensitization, can we go beyond the extra mile and do something for them? Get them jobs, get organization to accept that they may have suffered this, that they are acid attack survivors, but on the other hand, they may be very intelligent people with different competencies that can be used in an organization. So judge them for the competencies and don't judge them for the looks, which is what we normally tend to pay attention to. So these are the different things. Gender sensitization is another project that runs parallelly for us. And it's very important for all of them to know that, to the extent that even in our circulars that we send to them, when we write that you help your, generally, recently we had a discussion on it when we were giving out homework, and there was a sentence that came, and our director, Mr. Madhulika Sen, also brought out this. She says, we have to be very careful because we all believe in it, but here a teacher had probably written a sentence, you may help out your mother with the household chores. Now that became an issue. Now we said we need to change it to parents, because we talk about gender sensitization, neutrality, equal role for all genders. Through this one sentence, it is our acceptance of what we actually are about. So our every sentence should also convey what. So we changed it to parents, to those little things that the school gets into.
I think the motto of the school, Aham Yogya Asmi, I think it is being lived and led in every smallest dimension of human life. Education is not just about the curriculum, the textbook, the examinations, the entrance examinations. It is a holistic.
Beyond it.
Tagorians are I think really made accustomed to, and they are really fortunate to have such a, I would say, such passionate and privileged principal and faculty members who are really living in their own lives, because it is said in our tradition that acharyas who live it by their own, because these words have to come from the deepest presence of our heart and action. Ma'am, we have to close this wonderful masterclass. It can go on and on.
I know, it's endless. There's so much about school and so much that you can talk.
And what wonderful experiments, Bala. It's a great learning thing. You have got school campus, the whole building, and you are making it as a learning aid. I heard you mentioning a bit that you have asked the students to use utensils to do your physical exercises. Now, this is key. You can create hurdles and obstructions and do it all. And the way you have the culture at Tagore, I feel you had a very profound culture which just got translated in the online mode. The community was very close-knit, which adapted to this.
That's true.
Quickly, because transformation doesn't happen in vacuity. There was a strong foundation of it, and that foundation just made a platform change, a media transformation happen. Now, with these words, we would like to end this masterclass with a short video from Tagore International School. Aham Yogya Asmi, the underlying spirit, the freedom of heaven, which this beautiful campus in South Delhi, in near Aravali, is really nurturing that spirit. Aham Yogya Asmi. So I will just play it, ma'am. Thanks a lot for joining us today in this lovely masterclass. It was really a terrific interaction.
Thank you to both of you, Raghav and Surbhi.
Yeah, ma'am. I'll just play. Yoga So this was Aham Brahmasmi's at play Aham Yogi Asmi at Tagore International School. We will end this masterclass here.
Hi, I'm Terry. How are you? What's your name?
Thank you.
Who's this